Welcome to Birmingham High School's Talk. I'm Hannah.
I'm Heather. And I'm Phoebe.
And the topic we're covering today is the Becca Bill in Washington State right now. So, you've heard about the Becca Bill. If you skipped more than 10 unexcused absences, then you're sent to court and you have to bring your parents with you and you have to be ordered to go to school. And your feelings on that?
I don't really know much about it because I don't really have unexcused absences. Whenever I'm gone for any reason, I have my parents call in. I don't know.
And that's the way you should do it. But for like the unfortunate people, what do you think about people actually having to go to juvie like after your second violation? Because what happens now is your first time you go to court, you have a lawyer with you because I think Bellevue High School or whatever, I don't know, agreed to have a lawyer, and you have to sit in. And your trial, you're ordered to go to school, and then your second violation is you have 7 days of juvie.
I think there must be a reason why kids aren't wanting to go to school, and by forcing them to go to school, it's not going to solve the situation because that's just going to make them not want to be there even more because they're forced to be there. So it doesn't make any sense to like have the Becca Bill, and it doesn't make any sense to send them to juvie either because it's like they're already missing school and they're not caught up obviously because they're on the Becca Bill, and then you just take them out of school for longer. That doesn't make any sense.
No, and you're on the Becca Bill. I think the teacher's supposed to give you a failing grade or something. I think I was reading about that. I might not be right, but it's like if you're gone for more days, you've dug yourself deeper in a hole. You can't really catch up anymore because 7 days is a lot of like schoolwork for 6 periods or whatever.
Week. Even one day is a long time.
And it's ridiculous because how are you supposed to bring someone in juvie and then they go out and they aren't even as bad as they are? Like, for instance, there's one time I went to a court session. It wasn't my court session, but I am officially on the Becca Bill starting as of today. But there was a parent, and she had a son, and she was talking to me about why are they doing this, because my son is smart. You know, he had passing grades. He just didn't want to come to school because, I don't know, he didn't seem like your typical, I don't know, sociable person.
It just wasn't for him.
And it's like people don't want to go to school sometimes because they're bullied or whatever, and they can be really smart, but do you think putting them in a detention center is really going to, you know, make them successful in life?
I think that as long as you have good grades and you're keeping up with school and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, then you shouldn't get in trouble for not being there or being later or something.
And if you do get in trouble for it, then that brings your confidence down, and so you'll be like, well, this is just going to be what my life is like, just getting in trouble because I don't fit into the society or something, and it'll just make everything worse for you. Plus, it'll be on your record. So it's.
And like for that boy, I mean, if he didn't want to go to school and he's forced to be at school to avoid any kind of problem, you know, maybe his performance will decrease, you know, because he'll just be depressed, kind of. Like
he'll be at school but not doing anything. I would rather be not at school doing everything I can than being at school and not doing anything.
Just because of other problems.
Yeah, it just makes more sense in my head.
And then when I had my court session or whatever, like, what happens is you have to admit or deny your absences, and denying it, you can, like, it's kind of like a rebuttal. You can, like, check up on your absences and just so that you can have more, you're not put on the Becca Bill, you have like more lenience towards it. And like if you admit it, then you have to go to court and the judge orders you to go to school. But, I lost my train of thought. But if anything, I just think it's wrong because I was talking to someone in juvie and he said that it wasn't as bad as you think. I mean, maybe if you're like a really goody-goody kind of person and you're just a home kind of person, like, of course when you sit in the cell, you'll be like, oh no, I'm so traumatized, you know, it's like, this isn't how I am. And then, but if you're a person who's like really stubborn or ignorant or just overall doesn't like being at home because you don't like the environment, and you're in the cell, you're like, oh, well, this is like my refuge, just peace and quiet. And then my friend who's been there said they got to play basketball, and he loves basketball. And I mean, he's meeting all these different kinds of people there, and they're in there for other reasons, like they can be caught smoking drugs, smoking weed, or like it could be anything like to homicide almost. And you're skipping school. How are
And
you
you're
going to
in there
compare
for
that?
skipping school. That's so.
You can't even. The ratios don't even like match or anything. It's crazy, and you're around corrupted, like in a corrupted environment.
Plus, putting people who don't go to school into juvie is more money for the government. The government spending more money, and that doesn't make any sense because they could be spending money on them getting an education, but instead they're spending money on them being locked up for not going to school. It doesn't make any sense.
And when I went, the attorney or whatever, I asked him, because he asked if I had any more questions. I'm like, why exactly do you put people in juvie? And he said, like, this is a quote. He's like, I'm like, aren't you supposed to help people? He's like, we're not here to help you, we're here to punish you.
That's not even the purpose of juvie. That's not even the purpose of jail. The purpose of jail is to stop like
To make
future
a better-
crime
That
from
is supposed to
happening.
be. That is like punishment.
that's
though. They should
contradictory.
be helping you. They should be like promoting you. Like they should be encouraging you to go to school and like helping you if you're behind instead of just.
They shouldn't be treating you like a criminal for not going to school, like, especially if you're not even doing that bad in school. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense, does it?
And after you're put on the Becca bill, after your first violation, just I think a couple more tardies and you're back on it. And if you don't have a legitimate excuse, then you're going to be in juvie for 7 days. And it's like a couple minutes time can change a lot. And it's really just unfortunate.
I think that's why a lot of people that I know have like their friends call in as parents and excuse their absences. Not naming anyone.
And it just gets people in trouble. It's, I don't know. I don't really see how it helps. And it's not to help, it's to punish. So, I don't know. Yeah. And maybe it can help people though. But this was your talk about the Becca bill today. Thank you for watching us. See you and watch more of the Bremerton High School Talks on YouTube.com.